Morning. How you guys doing today? I've been thinking a lot about financial freedom as those videos have seemed to receive a lot of clicks lately. And as I'm thinking about them, I'm really going back and sort of reviewing, you know, myself growing up and helping raise a stepdaughter and all of those things. And I really have to say that I've come up with 7 reasons why your parents, including myself in my example, really don't understand financial freedom. And I think it's sort of among us if you're of age to have children to sort of recognize these 7 things and at least appreciate that maybe we were raised wrong because all of these, as you'll see in a minute, were things that I almost took for granted based on growing up and in my experience. So I come up with these 7, and I thought I'd talk about them. And really, it's never been malicious. I'm sure we were doing our best we could, but I think there are 7 reasons why I think you know parents don't understand financial freedom. So I guess you always start with the first one, right? And I created a video called Mother's Mantra, and again, it was about go to school, get a good education, get a good job, so you can buy nice things. And it's that whole go get an education, which is not cheap. It takes 4 or 5, or more years, right? So there's opportunity cost and lost time. Um, but it was really the buy nice things, right? It's not about education to get a good job or to make a lot of money. It's not bad. It's the buy nice things that just puts us in the rat race and keeps us there, and it just keeps us running so hard day in and day out. And the more stuff we add, the longer we have to run in those things. So just need to appreciate that. The next one is there's been a lot of focus, a lot of internal feeling that when you make a lot of money, you you know you feel good. You're all these things. I got to tell you, I think I did a video on this earlier. Being a high income individual is actually, obviously it's great, but you're going to be stuck in the rat race for a long time because every person I've known that made more than, pick a number, 200 grand, they go out and spend it all, right? They go out and buy multiple cars, right? I knew one family that had 5 or 6 cars and 3 drivers. I'm like, gosh, wow. Another gentleman I know who made significantly more than that has 3 or 4 vacations homes and spends, I don't know, probably 30 days or less in all of them combined. Yeah, sure, they're free and clear, and they're nice spots of the world, but they just sit there 11 months out of the year. So it sounds expensive to me. So again, it's not about the high income. That's what I hope you take from point number 2. It's about reducing expenses and then having extra savings so you can go out and buy assets that produce cash flow for you. So how about this one? How about number 3? I've seen a lot of stuff in the press lately, sort of pointing at millennials and saying that millennials aren't buying houses. I think that's probably a good thing, right? If I go back and review what baby boomers were doing and buying in their early 20s, you're just signing yourself up for a mortgage in your 20s when you really don't know what you want to do, where you want to be, where you want to live the rest of your life. That's, a mortgage can be seen as a noose, right? It sort of keeps you anchored and reduces mobility, and you're on the hook for 30, if not, years. And it's just, I think there should be a lot less pressure on buying a house, right? Sometimes renting in some locations, like where I live in the Bay Area, absolutely makes more sense than buying. I wouldn't buy a house in today's market. It's crazy. So I think we should do a lot less picking on other generations when we're not living their life. That's just not fair. So I think maybe this generation has it right. If renting is better, provides more flexibility, um, go for it, right? I think that's the right financial move. Uh, how about number 5? How about the parents pushing for grandkids? Talk about a huge a huge anchor we're putting on our kids. All right, we know you're in your 28 or you're 31, and you've only been out of school for 5 or 6 years, and your student debt's there, and you live in a one-bedroom apartment, and you just got married, and oh, we want kids, right? Go pop out a couple of kids. They're not cheap, right? I mean, you're signing them up for so much stuff before, again, they really know who they are and where they are in life, and before they're financially ready. Next is, at least when I was younger, there was a general, um, it was generally a bad idea not to live together, right? It was kind of frowned upon a little bit. It's not so much these days, but um, there's nothing wrong with living together, or my next one will sort of merge them together, having roommates, right? Again, I think some people call it house hacking or whatever you want to call it. Just call it roommates, right? Having roommates to share the costs, so your total monthly expenses are less, and you're able to have more cash left over at the end of the month, so you can build on that and use it for something else. I think that's great, right? So having people share the burden of costs, and you obviously got to like each other and do all those things, because there's roommate hassles, I'm sure. But I trust people can figure that out. And then here's the last one for you, just given this is a little bit long, is the side hustle. Um, we as adults or parents, step parents, whatever you want to call us, sometimes frown upon the side hustle, and that's just the wrong thing to do, right? If your kids, have a job that are paying their bills, and they want to do something on the side, encourage that, right? You never know, when the side hustle over time, right, which most of this takes, can become that permanent thing, right? So I wish I was encouraged to do that, right? I was just encouraged to work more, and frankly, I had 2 jobs for a long time in my life that, um, I was simply selling hours. That's all I was doing. I wish I had thought about having a side hustle or another thing that would go forward. So again, I really think the millennials, this next generation, are really working, towards early financial freedom, at a pace, in a way, like no others. And I think we need to appreciate that and encourage that. I think if we have a whole wave of millennials becoming financially free in their 30s, or early 40s, that'd be awesome, right? I'd look forward to seeing that. And again, for them, is everything they're doing, from delaying marriage to, delaying, or having roommates, all those things, they're keeping expenses low, right? Another bonus one is they're not going out and buying the expensive cars. They're just doing ride shares. Again, they're doing everything they can to keep expenses low, um, but they're still experiencing life. So maybe they figured it out. Anyways, I just thought I'd leave that, and again, coming up with 7 or 8 things why parents don't understand financial freedom.